Eric B's Daily Vlogs.
All right, back in the podcast studio doing another TV review. Disney Plus series Hawkeye, episode 3 just released. I watched it late last night because I couldn't sleep. So today we're going to discuss the third episode, who I think the villains are and who I want to see in the MCU and who's also missing in episode 3. So let's get this on the other side. Let's get this started.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Welcome everyone, it's my Daily Vlogs channel, Eric B's Daily Vlogs. I got some Trans-Siberian Christmas going on in the background. If you guys haven't watched episode 3 yet, spoiler alert right now. Hawkeye's spoiler alert is there. I'm putting the spoiler alert, letting you guys know, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet. So we're going to break down episode 3. And again, like I said in the opening, who I want to see in the MCU and who I think is the big bads in the MCU. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause this music. We're going to try to go everything frame by frame. I'm not going to, you know how Disney Plus is and how Disney is. All right, due to Disney Plus and their little laws that they have, I'm going to do a little small screen. It's going to be, you can see it right above here, over there. I'm going to play some background music. And we're not going to play the one that I said earlier just because that might get copyrighted knowing them. So we're going to play an album called Christmas Music Essential Piano, Christmas Songs, Christmas Carols and Holidays by Carol's Christmas Music Academy. So that should be plenty enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down each part. We're going to pop up the thing right there. It's already there next to me. And again, I'm going to make sure it's on mute. We're going to hit play. That's the Disney Plus sign right there. And I'm just going to fast forward. And then the beginning scene, what I love about this thing, it's giving us somewhat of an origin story of Echo, right? It's letting us know who Echo is, played by Maya. I'm sorry, Maya's her character's name in there. She's Echo, but they call her Maya. Played by Alaqua Cox. Is that her name? Alaqua Cox. Pretty good actress. I'm not Google and see if she's actually really deaf in real life, because we had that in the Eternals. So are we getting clues of what Disney's doing? So we're going to keep going here. Again, I'm just going to fast forward this scene. We're not going to go quite into detail. So opening scene, like I said, they're showing her at school, 2007. They're going that far back. She's deaf. So she's only seeing what everyone else is doing. So in a way, she's like Taskmaster from Black Widow. She watches, she mimics, and she does it even better. Because that's what she does in this scene right here. Well, not this scene, but in the scene earlier. So, she's watching the teacher, she's reading the teacher's lips, and she's noticing the teacher is noticing that she's not paying attention. So opening scene, it's a pretty cool scene. Again, they're just showing her as a kid, giving us that origin story. Here she's with her dad, and her dad's trying to break down to her that she doesn't need a special school. She wanted to go to a school for the deaf, and her dad's trying to say, you don't need that. Dad, played by Zahn McLaren. William Lopez is his character's name. If you watched Dr. Sleep, he was the big bad in Dr. Sleep, and that's a good movie that you should watch. I don't know if it's Shining Part 2, but you should watch it. So Dad's explaining to her. This cool father and daughter moment reminds me of the opening scene in episode 1 where Kate Bishop and her dad is hanging out in the bedroom as well, talking about life and having to go through all this and all that. So kind of a cool homage that they paid with these two, father and daughter. That same thing, parent issues. We're just going to keep fast forwarding. And again, he's telling her, you don't need anything special. You're perfect the way you are. cut scene to the martial arts scene. This is one of the big secrets that was being revealed. She's mimicking, she's watching. And in this scene right here, I'm going to back it up just a little bit. And in this scene right here, I don't want to go that far out. So the scene right before this. So this scene right here, you see the dad's in a tracksuit. Tracksuit mafia. It's already given, right? You look out the door, you see a few other tracksuit mafias walking out. So the dad was a big bad that she didn't know about. So it makes me wonder how come he couldn't afford the school for the deaf. Maybe he didn't want to send her to a special school because of his ties to the tracksuit mafia. Maybe he wanted to send her to a regular school so she can build up her skills. You know, sometimes they say private school is better than public school. It's true in San Francisco. Trust me, it is. So again, saving us for the big bad. In that scene, the dad saying, your uncle's going to pick you up. He has something to do. And then we see, I got to hit play. That's the only way to do it. Right there. Black suit. Who is it? Who is it? I want to know who it is. They're not showing the face. Black suit. Big guy. Big hands. He's wearing cufflinks. Put two and two together. In the comic book, Kingpin kills Maya's father and takes her, adopts her as his own, and she does call him uncle in the comic book. So are they keeping true to the comic books and they're saying Kingpin is in the MCU? Where's my... Is Kingpin in the MCU? Or I could be... Could be Jack. That could be Jack. That could be Armand. Could be anybody, right? So here's the scene where she's fighting. Growing up scene. We're just going to fast forward to a lot of scenes. In this scene right here, she goes home and she sees her dad being killed by Ronin. That's why she has this whole thing against Ronin. She wants to find out who Ronin is. And the dad's telling her, go, leave me, I'm dying. There's nowhere that you can save me. She calls her little dragon because that's the kind of person she is. And then he puts her hand on her face that leaves a blood stain. And in the comic books, she takes that persona with the stain on her face. Kind of reminds me of what Star Wars was that, where Finn, they put the blood on the stormtrooper's mask. The first one, was it Rise of the Jedi? Something like that. I forgot what it was called. But that's what kind of this reminds me of. And Disney's sticking true to the comic book. I like how they did this. So in this scene right here, she's pretty much in her head, I'm avenging you. I'm going to find this Ronin. And I'm going to hunt him down and kill him. And there's something at the end that I want to bring up with you guys when it comes to that. So if you guys remember last scene, Kate Bishop was trying to come help. She doesn't do a good job. She lands in the ceiling, and then the whole scene takes place inside. Look at that. A KB Toys warehouse. How cool is that? KB Toys, you guys who grew up the era that I grew up, KB Toys, Toys R Us. What people don't realize, KB Toys used to be called King Norman's. That's right. History learned right here for you guys. KB Toys used to be called King Norman's. Then later on changed over to KB Toys. So this is the scene. Again, they're talking. Clint's trying to save her life. So Clint's whole thing, if you guys remember part 2, episode 2, Clint went there, purposely got caught so he can clear Kate Bishop's name. So what he wanted to do was he was going to tell the Tracksuit Mafia, and he does, that Black Widow killed Ronin. And then there's a scene right here where Echo, who appears for the first time that we see her, with the teaser last week, says, "How do you know Black Widow killed him?" And he says, "I was there." And if we remember, she does take away the Ronin thing from Clint, right? She goes to Tokyo. She says, "Clint, this is not you. We have to stop." So in a way, she does kill the Ronin persona in Clint. In a way, right? So she's like not convinced. Thinking this whole fight scene. It was a cool fight scene. This is probably the coolest fight scene in a Disney Plus series that I've seen ever. I think this is one of the best scenes that I've seen in a long time. Even like Falcon and Winter Soldier, there wasn't a lot in there. And what was it? WandaVision, there was not a lot of fighting scenes. But this Season 1, Episode 3 had iconic fight scenes. And this is the start of one of them. Clint breaks them out. They're fighting in a little toy store. KB's Toys. There's a scene right here where she kicks Clint in the head. She realizes, okay, he has a hearing aid. So she kicks Clint in the head. The hearing aid falls out. Clint can't hear a thing anymore. That's the scene right there. Hearing aid falls over. He tries to reach over there. And what does she do? She steps on it. He finds his way to the office, gets the arrow. She's mad. They're fighting. Arrow scenes here were the coolest arrow scenes. I mean, Clint Martin, man. I'm telling you right now, he's starting to be my favorite Avenger. They call him the weakest Avenger, but I think he's the strongest Avenger so far. So, again, we're going to fast forward. So they find their way out of the warehouse. On the way out, Clint was like, all right, we need to get out of here. So big KB toy store in the back, pretty cool. He gets his hearing aid. That's a cool scene because it sets up for another one. Kate's like, why don't we just take the charger? This is an homage to the comic book. There's a comic book episode that I'm reading right now where Clint is driving a Charger just like this, and the Charger's driven by his girlfriend, Cherry. Not his wife, Laura. The comic book is different from the movie, so, and I'll explain why later on. But again, pretty cool homage to what's going on right here. They find another car, Cadillac, and then this chase scene, this iconic chase scene, man. This is probably the best. Again, fight scene, chase scene. They're fighting in a Cadillac or Lincoln. Kate's finally showing off her arrows, her marksmanship, and it's funny because in this one scene, she's going through Clint's arrows. And remember in episode 1 when she asked Clint, do you have any special arrows? And Clint goes, no, I don't have any special arrows. Here he's telling her, don't use this, don't use that, don't touch this, don't touch that, because they were special arrows. So they're fighting. Cool scene. I mean, a lot of the scenes pretty much from the comic book. There's this iconic bridge scene that they're fighting each other on. Pretty cool. This scene right here, I wanna bring back for you guys because I want to show you guys something. So they're pretty much depleted, right? There's this one cool scene. It's an arrow scene right here. There we go. Clint's telling her, aim high, shoot up, aim high. And if we look at Clint's arrow, here they come. See his arrow? It says Pimtech. So fast. It says Pimtech. So it's another homage to Ant-Man and the Hank Pym technology that they have. Remember, Clint is the one that was driving the van to bring Scott Lang to Germany. And in Germany, he's the one that shoots the arrow into Iron Man. And he goes, are you ready? Then he goes, yes, arrow guy, shoot me in. So it's a good homage to pay respect to each other. So I'm wondering if Ant-Man or Clint is going to show up in the Ant-Man series. I wonder. So fast forward to that scene. There's this one funny scene that I caught. This is the scene right here. So they jump off the building or the bridge. And if we look really close, that's not Jeremy Renner. That's not Haley Steinfeld. Those are their freaking stunt doubles. Disney, Marvel. You shouldn't give us the opportunity to pause the way we did. A little CGI would have been cool. But we realized it's not them. All right, so that's the cool scene. Pretty cool scene here on the train. The little board up above their head. It's asking anybody on the train, are you having family issues? Are you having family problems? And if you are, there's help. And Kate Bishop is having family problems with her mom. She's not ready for her mom to marry Jack, right? Clint's having family problems as well because he wants to be home for Christmas, but he can't because he's trying to resolve this whole situation. And Echo, Maya, is having family issues also because Ronan killed the dad, and Ronan is still out there, and she wants to find out who Ronan is. So, cool scene right here. This scene right here made me really like Clint Martin, made me realize he's probably the best Avenger ever because he gets a phone call, phone's ringing. He thinks it's his wife because, when you get a phone call, your wife's name pops up. But she writes, little boy. It's his youngest son. So he can't hear. Remember, he lost his hearing aid. So she's writing everything down for him. And she's writing everything down. And then Clint's trying to tell him, yes, I'll be home for Christmas. And it just showed the real person that Clint is. And then this scene right here, look at the sun rays just coming down on him. How cool is that? It made me realize Clint is a real person. You remember, Tony Stark wanted that life. When he finally had his daughter, finally married Pepper, finally lived in that lake house. When they said they're going to redo the snap, all he wanted was nothing to change. He wanted to keep his daughter. He wanted to keep his wife. And Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, Captain America wanted that life also. Remember, he kept saying, I want that life. He wants to live that life. So Clint's living that life. Clint's a husband. Clint's a father. So him living that life, he's trying really hard to be an Avenger and be a father and be a husband. So that's something the other Avengers don't understand that he has to go through. Remember, in Infinity War, he lost his family. Right? So, kind of crazy. So this scene right here is just Echo and Quasi trying to figure out Quasi's like questioning her motives, like, hey, what are you doing? And she has a more personal vendetta. Like, she wants to find Ronan, where he wants to stick to Uncle's plan. And, we probably think Uncle is Kingpin. So this scene right here, they're waiting for the doctor to fix Clint's hearing aid. She says 5 minutes, cash only. They finally name the dog. They give him the name Pizza Dog. Comic book accurate. And then this scene right here, Kate's trying to find a new look for Clint. So she's drawing him what she thinks his uniform should look like. So this is comic book accurate of what Hawkeye should look like. And this is what she says. And it's funny because there's a deleted scene in episode 2 during the LARP fight that, they're fighting in the woods. There was a person dressed up in this costume, purple with the eyeglasses, not the H, but just the glasses, the purple, everything, and with a bow and arrow with 2 arrows. But they cut that scene because they wanted to keep this Easter egg rather than go with that Easter egg, which I think is cool. So they're pretty much trying to figure out a plan. Kate's telling Clint, hey, I think my mom's fiance has something to do with it. So Clint's now buying into the whole, okay, what's going on with your mom's fiance? Let's find out what's going on. So they go back to her house. Clint's amazed on how big her house is. And then this is one of the most, again, another iconic scene. They're breaking into the system. They're hacking the system. And for a guy who just lost his hearing and just got his hearing aid back, he hears something. So he walks over to find a sword on his neck. It's the Ronin. It's the Ronin. So the sword on his neck is held by Jack. In the comic book, Jack and Clint knows each other. So I'm going to wonder, in this scene, of course it ends, it shows us what next week is about. So in this scene right here, does Jack know who Clint is? Or Jack, they're just going to say he's not, whatever. But does Jack know who Clint is? I'm wondering if they know each other. I'm wondering. Do they? We'll see. We'll find out next week. We will find out next week. So that's pretty much what happened in the whole Disney Plus. Again, there was a couple questions that I have, and I'm going to throw it out to you guys out there in the YouTube world. Do you think it's Kingpin? Do you think it's Kingpin? I think it's Kingpin, and it's funny because Kingpin is a Spider-Man foe. One of Spider-Man's biggest enemies is Kingpin. In the comic book Amazing Spider-Man, Kingpin is the one that has Uncle Ben killed. Right? That's what Amazing Spider-Man is. So, is this Kingpin going to tie into Spider-Man? Oh, God, I hope so. Is it? We don't know. But another question I have for you guys out there. We haven't seen Yelena yet. Remember the end credits of Black Widow? You guys sat till the end. Val walks up to Yelena while she's mourning the loss of her sister. And Val tells her, do you want to know the person that killed your sister? And then hands her an iPad and says, bam! That's the guy who killed your sister. Clint Martin. And the funny thing about this picture, he's wearing the Ronin suit. This picture was taken while he was in Tokyo, right? I mean, that's what it looks like to me. This is the scene where Natasha walks up to him and says, Clint, it's done. It's over. Stop. He takes off his mask. He's wearing the Ronin suit. So does Val know that Clint is the Ronin? Is Yelena know that Clint is the Ronin? So does Yelena come in? Is she a friend? Is she a foe? Is she a good guy? Is she a bad guy? Is she going to help Clint in somehow, some way? I don't know. Is she going to be... Remember, Tracksuit Mafia, all of them are Russian. And Yelena is Russian. So, is Yelena like a big boss that we haven't seen yet? Is she answering to Echo? And Echo calls her in and says, hey, we need your help. I don't know. I want to see it. I definitely want to see it. I want to see what's next. I want to see what's going on. I want to see everything about here. I want to see what's going on. Now, I have a theory, and this is my theory only. I have a theory that Vera Farmiga's character, Eleanor Bishop, is bad. I have a theory that Jack Duquesne, how do you say it in French? Duquesne. I have a feeling he's good, and he's going to end up teaming up with Clint and Kate. Because Kate has too much hate for him. So that's obvious to us that he's the bad guy. Obvious. Right? So you're dealing with a Tracksuit Mafia. You're dealing with supposedly the Kingpin. You're dealing with Echo. Now you're going to bring in Yelena. And then you're going to have Jack as a bad guy? That's 5 villains that is right in front of us. So I think Jack is a good guy. He's swordsman. If you guys read the comics, he's swordsman. So I wonder if Jack's going to end up being part of the two that's there right now and end up helping Kate and Clint. I wonder. Again, my theory, I think it is. I think Eleanor Bishop is bad. Remember in the first episode, when the whole Chitauri warriors just came, they just had a fight with her husband. Her husband wanted to move out to the country. She didn't want to move out. She said, no, we're not going anywhere. So that was the whole argument that they were having. And then the Chitauri warriors come. And then all of a sudden, Kate's looking out the window. You can see the Avengers Tower at the distance. And then it took how long for the mom to come save the daughter? Any parent in a situation like that would be there right away. But it took her forever to finally get her daughter, because I think she was killing her husband. I said this in the first podcast. I think she was killing her husband. I think she was killing her husband. So she can stay there because she's associated with Kingpin. And rumor is Kingpin bought Avengers Tower. And if you look outside the window in episode 1, what's Kate looking at? Avengers Tower. So what do you think? What are your theories? What are your thoughts? Am I pulling? Am I stretching this out? Am I guessing? Am I seeing everything that I want to see? Or am I thinking this is really going to happen, but it's not? Am I wishing this is going to happen and it's not? Remember, Spider-Man comes out in a couple weeks. We got 3 more episodes till this comes out, till this ends. Spider-Man comes out. Let me just check my calendar here. Spider-Man comes out December. Is it December 16th? Yes. December 16th it comes out. We have 3 more episodes, so we just watched today's episode. 1 more. So this is going to end the week after Spider-Man. So is this going to tie into Spider-Man? Remember the whole scene when we watched The Mandalorian and everyone said, you have to watch. This song is just looping. It's freaking me out. And they said, you have to watch this episode of The Mandalorian before you watch Star Wars because there's something that tied in together, and it was just a whole force healing thing. So I wonder if Disney's going to do the same thing with this Marvel series. I wonder. I don't know. can't wait to find out. I had to change the music. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me comments down below. If I missed anything, if there's a theory you have out there that you want to share, go ahead and share that theory with me. Let me know what you think. Again, doing this kind of podcast vlog is pretty fun. I love doing this. I did one the other day where I talked about the Netflix series The Silent Sea, which is kind of creepy because it's a Korean sci-fi. So if you guys ever watch Korean sci-fi, you know how scary that is. But I like this series. I like the whole Hawkeye series. I can't wait to break down Book of Boba Fett when that comes out. And yeah, I can't wait. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thumbs up for watching the video. Leave me comments down below. Until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Vlog's ended. Go in peace. I always thought this is a church song. Is it a church song that's sung during Christmas? Or is it really a church song? I don't know.
I made this.